Tonight, on Be Something Wonderful, what non-attachment really means. This is big. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. I got an email from a subscriber. It said, Tom, I've heard a lot of coaches and spiritual teachers talk about the idea of non-attachment. And I always thought that the idea of non-attachment was to desire or imagine your wish fulfilled or what you want, and then let it go or give it or surrender it to that higher power. And then as things happen in your world or in your life, as things happen in the 3D world, to not judge them, to let them go, to don't get attached to them when negative events happen. Can you unpack that a little bit more? Well, guys, we're going to unpack this tonight and more. So certainly that's a part of non-attachment, right? Having your desire, imagining your wish fulfilled, and then giving it up to that higher power. And it's also not getting attached to the events in 3D, especially the negative events, but any events. Because all events in 3D are fleeting. They're changeable, right? Really, what is non-attachment? Non-attachment is not clinging to or getting attached to anything that's not who you really are. Hear this. Who you really are is that unconditioned awareness. Who you really are is God, or that energy, or that power, or one with infinite intelligence. Your pure awareness, your consciousness, right? You are the unchangeable, right? That's who you really are. Everything else that happens in 3D or in your head in terms of thoughts, or the conditions that manifest in 3D, they are all fleeting and all changing. They're not who you really are. Don't get attached to them. There's no reason to. There's no reason to get attached to conditions or your thoughts, because they're not who you really are. Hear this. You're not your thoughts. You're not the conditions, right? Who you really are is that awareness, is that God power, is that pure positive energy. So let's unpack this a little bit more. Remember, nothing exists apart from your attention, awareness, and observation of it. You create it all when you observe it. You create it when you put your attention on it, right? Without you as the observer, the people, events, and circumstances in 3D dissolve, whether they're positive or negative. If you remove your attention from them, if you don't remember them anymore, we'll get back to this on memory in a minute, they dissolve. When you let the negative thought go, or in other words, you stop observing it with your awareness and attention, the negative conditions disappear. Negative conditions can never have a control on you, right? All 3D conditions keep you limited, whether they're positive or negative. Why? Because they're all fleeting. They're all changeable. They're all from that limited mind, right? They don't last. You want to think with the infinite mind, with infinite intelligence, right? In other words, it's not even thinking. It's a direct channel, right? A direct creation from infinite intelligence. Now is the really what keeps us limited is our view or our bogus belief in linear time. Right? Hear this, because now is the only time. When you don't remember it or have an image or thought of it, it can't exist. Right? So remember, mostly all of our thoughts, really all of them, and they come from us, from past experiences. And a lot of them are from regrets or something we wanted to do differently, or they're worried, or us projecting those past conditions into the future with worry and fear, right? If you don't remember it or have an image of the thought of it, it can't exist. Hear this, how powerful that is. Why? Because it's all happening right now. You create it with your thought of it or with your observation of it. And if you're not observing it or you're remembering it differently, remember we talked about that in a past lesson, right? The movie Solaris, right? I remembered her wrong, right? But in this case, if you don't have a thought of it or an image of it, it can't exist. And so if there is something in the past that you're remembering, if you change that memory, if you remember it differently, then everything changes. We talked about this before, right? The past, present, and future. But let's go further with this. So when you stop thinking about dwelling on and controlling conditions and circumstances and people Infinite intelligence takes over and moves everything in the direction of and in harmony with the path of least resistance. That's what we mean about non-attachment. It's a state of total non-resistance, right? Because when you're attached to things, you think about them, you dwell on them, you want to control them, right? And it could be, and it's mostly always conditions of the past, right? You're almost never in the present moment, right? In the present moment, you don't have problems, you don't have conditions, you're not dwelling on anything. You're one with that infinite intelligence, right? So the infinite intelligence takes over. That's the surrender, right? It moves everything in direction and harmony with the path of least resistance. The ultimate state of non-resistance, right? Observe your thoughts and let them dissolve in nothingness, both positive and negative, right? Have your positive thoughts, but don't dwell on those either, because that keeps you limited, right? You want to be in touch with with infinity, with infinite intelligence. So whenever you dwell, your thoughts are not you, the conditions are not you, and they're all changeable and they're all fleeting. So when you dwell on them, you're keeping yourself limited by those thoughts and conditions. Hear this, right? Thoughts have no power unless you give them the power by resisting them or believing them. Hear this. And you don't have to resist them. You don't have to try to not think them. Just let them be. Let them be in the background and bring awareness to it. Then they just dissolve in the background as you don't put your awareness of it. You can observe them and then just let them be. And as you observe them and let them be, you're letting them go. That's non-attachment, right? Thoughts are not who you are. Stop identifying with them and instead observe and release. That's what we're talking about. That's non-attachment. So your lower rational thinking mind is always limited by past conditions and beliefs. Always. Always. That's why you want to surrender to that infinite intelligence. Surrender to your higher mind. Therefore, set your intention and then hand your desire over to infinite intelligence, your higher self or God. Right? Then that higher intelligence has all the possibilities and infinity to bring about your desire. But if you keep holding on to it, you keep thinking about it, how it might come, you're limiting infinity, and you can't limit infinity. Turn it over to infinity. This is what non-attachment really means. Stop clinging to the things that are not who you really are. Right? Cling to that infinite intelligence if you want to cling to anything. Right? You don't have to cling to it because that's who you really are. That's what you're made of. That's your awareness, right? Turn every unwanted condition into the intention of what you want. So whatever the condition that comes up, if it's unwanted or it's negative, turn it into what you want and then hand it over to infinite intelligence, right? Turn every negative thought into an intention of what you want, and then turn it over to infinite intelligence. Then let infinite intelligence take over. Don't give it a second thought, right? That really is how to rise above 3D conditions. That's what non-attachment really means. I am your host, Tom Caron, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, like and share our videos. That's how we get our message out. Hit us up on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful, on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Caron, our website at tomcaron.com, at BeSomethingWonderful.com, or write me anytime at info@BeSomethingWonderful.com. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, with great love, this is Tom. See you soon.